Live. You're on your Facebook page, Bill
I
Walsh.
am.
There you
How
are.
are you? Hello, Rick Rush. How are you tonight, Monday night?
I'm good. I'm a little exhausted, honestly. I woke
You a
up
little
for.
exhausted?
Let me just tell you this. I woke up for this. This is how early I
You?
went to sleep.
Oh, I thought you liked this every night.
No, no, no. No. Normally, I don't go to sleep at 6 o'clock at night for a
Oh, is that
nap.
it?
For a nap.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but then I woke up and here I am.
Yeah, well, here we are. You
I
gotta
don't want to
love
miss
that.
the opportunity to speak to literally tens of people on your Facebook page.
Well, it's exactly what it is. That's right. I Hey, by the way, we want to. I'm going to share this right now on my little machine. We have a tonight, and he's a good friend, and his name is Matt Jolly, and he is with Warbird Radio and History Worth Saving, and he's one of the best air show announcers on the circuit. Matt is joining us from beautiful and scenic Georgia. How are you?
I'm great, Bill. It
Hey,
is
we.
kind of late. I got to tell you, I was hearing Rick there. I almost fell asleep. I was putting my son down to sleep.
Oh, is that it? Okay.
I'm telling you, it's like I did something in the wind tonight. You would know, but it must be.
Yeah, me
Well,
too. I was putting my son down too. He's 21.
Oh, is that it? You put the 21-year
Yeah,
old
yeah,
down.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We're just thinking about putting him to sleep. Period.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
there you go.
Oh,
No,
that's
thanks
fine.
for having me, though. It's fun to be here with you tonight. Appreciate it.
Well, it is great to have you here. First of all, you have a book out, and I was looking at some of the stuff about it, and High Blood is a bunch of stories. But we'll talk
Yeah.
about that too. I want to hear more about Warbird Radio. Rick Rush and I have been doing radio and stuff for years. Matt's got a history, Rick, of being in broadcasting, of course,
Nice.
and I got to tell you, it is it is great to talk about some of the cool things that we talk about a lot about some of the history work stuff as well. But I don't know where you find the time, Matt. You're always so busy doing stuff, but it is very cool that you're out here joining us tonight.
You and I met. I was trying to think where we met. Bill, was it at Andrews doing the air show there? I can't remember now. It's been
It's been
been
a
too
number
long.
of years ago. It might have been
Yeah.
Andrews. It might have been when I was doing C-17 demo team as the narrator,
Yeah.
and then I went to the Paracommandos. So somewhere along in there, and on again, off again, and then of course. You not only do air show stuff, but tell everybody a little bit about I want to know more about the book because the stories are fabulous. But
it's not very good, but I appreciate you saying that. But
well, it's kind of neat,
It's no Uncle Danny.
Well,
So
that's a whole different type of book.
hang on a minute though, because I don't think Rick understands who he's working with right now. Bill,
I thought the name of the book
listen.
was Uncle Daddy. That's why I
It
didn't
might
read
be.
it.
It might be. But you get up there. I mean, literally, Bill gets up there in front of 150,000 people, and it's that Rhode Island brogue
Mm-hmm.
that he brings to the table just lulls the audience, and they're transfixed with him when he's
Oh.
out there. So it's fun to work with Bill, and I appreciate you doing this. No, the book is Tales from High Bluff. I'm not going to make the mistake that I made on morning radio a few weeks ago in Georgia, telling stories about how the stories came about, but because that's probably it's just not good to go down that road. But no, it's fun. It's stories from my hometown that are set in a fictitious town,
Right.
High Bluff, which happens to be on the same high bluff in South Texas that I grew up on. But it's just fun stuff. The Easter pageant, the night my dad shot Santa, that kind of fun stuff. So
That's awesome.
That's right
Yeah.
up your alley, Rick.
yeah, well, I wrote the book. I wrote this first one while I was, we were over in the Middle East, Bill, as you know. I was living
Yeah.
over there, and I started writing the book. I said I was going to write a book, and I did, and it was fun. But I joined a I joined a writers group, like a lot of writers do, new writers. And I don't know if it was fun. I've enjoyed it. I really enjoy the one I'm a part of now. But the one over there was really weird. Everybody that was a part of it, Bill, and Rick too, you might appreciate this. Their books had been banned in the country that we were living in, which made it kind of
Wow.
interesting because you had a government representative that was off in there. So I said I wasn't going to do this, but I guess I'm going to do it. So the story about the Easter pageant that's in there was workshopped in this writers group of mostly women living in the Middle East, which in itself posed a lot of challenges. There were a few guys, and we're sitting there, and the government representative was there. And the night that I had to read the story, it's about an Easter pageant at a church that goes wrong. And there's something that happens to the guy that plays Jesus, who's this beloved character in our hometown. And
Jesus?
Anyway, he has a problem on the cross when he after the thing when he's rising up to heaven. And so the ladies,
Oops.
After I read it, these women are like, no, something has to happen to the guy. It's not funny enough. Something has to happen to it. And I don't remember who something worse should, and it just went downhill from there. If you could imagine the poor guy over there, notes for the guy the entire time about
Oh my gosh,
what they wanted to have happen.
Bizarre.
Wow.
It was funny. It was a good time, but the book's doing well. I'm happy.
I'm
to
surprised.
Say
I'm just glad you didn't end up in the clink over there. I mean,
I might have.
I
could have. I very easily. No, but it's been fun to talk about the book, and people back home are reading it and they're enjoying it. But
so High Bluff.
Fun.
When you talk about High Bluff, you're talking about southeast Texas, southern Texas, near Corpus.
Yeah, near Corpus, way down there. The highest bluff.
Yeah, because it's pretty flat down there for the most part, right?
It's flat. It's flat in High Bluff too. It just sits up real high. So.
Right, I got you.
Hurricane proof, right? That's why my folks moved there, was because it was
right.
I had a friend of mine who lived in that area, and he said it was so flat that he could stand and look one way and see the back of his head.
Yeah.
Wow.
Watch your dog run away. Yeah, all that fun stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
How many are in the book?
Say again, Bill.
How many stories are in the book?
There's 12 stories in the book. It's set it's for a year. So it's one story for every month. And it's a good way to get out of having to write a whole lot, like you. Because you have like 85 chapters and 1,000 pages or something crazy like that.
Oh, no.
That's I don't know how you do it.
You're thinking of Clancy, the real writers. No.
But it's been fun, though.
But, we have, as far as the book, and it's kind of an offshoot of History Worth Saving, or how did that come about?
Right. So History Worth Saving started. I read a survey again 2 years ago. Is when we started History Worth Saving. The brand that I run is called Warbird Radio. It tells the stories of our airmen, past and present. It's been on the air now for 10 years, and we've been doing a lot of fun with it. But you need to get that, Bill. You busy? I can hear you.
No, I'm watching. I'm actually pulling up some of the podcasts.
Your co-host sounds like she needs to go out. Poor thing.
Oh, the dog. Oh, yeah. Well, she doesn't want to be in her house. I mean,
I thought that was Janet. I thought that was Janet.
No, she's upstairs.
Oh, okay. That's why I didn't say anything.
Yeah.
No, it's poor thing. So History Worth Saving, though, we started it a year ago. I really, I was over in the Middle East, and a friend of mine and I kind of thought it was a good idea to do, and it came out of reading. I don't know if you read it. There was a survey, or not a survey, but an article written by Pew Research. And it said that the more of an urban area that you live in, the less likely you are to know your neighbor. And I really started thinking about that. The country's so divided right now. And I thought, if you don't know the people that you're living next to, you certainly can't like them, and you're not going to love them, and you can't empathize with them. So there's a crisis in America right now that people just don't know their neighbors. And so this show, it started out as a way to sort of tell these unique stories, these uniquely American stories that people have just kind of forgotten about in their own hometown and truly right within their own neighborhood. Our first story that we did was Louis L'Amour's son came on and talked about his dad's first book that he had written. So that was kind of cool, but it was just fun. It was a good time.
Well, that's all. I think it's very, very cool. I mean, I was looking at some of them, like Chris Hood, and you've got I see you even have Stephen Nye on there.
Steve Nye.
Yeah, from Lucas. He does all the Lucas oil. Mike Wiskus. It was a pilot. I met Stephen through him, and he's just amazing. He's just incredible.
20-year-old kid who was going to be was training to be an Olympic gymnast, and then injured himself on one of the bars and broke his wrist. His wrist actually wrapped around it. So his story is really cool because it's one of those things when life has a reset, how do you go about it? You either you either don't go about it very well, or in Steve's case, you do it really well, and you make the most of it. So it's been fun. A lot of good stories on there. Tara Tucker, Brandon Hess, who you probably know as Sean Tucker's daughter. They have a great new show out. Rick's 21-year-old might like it. I don't know. It's a kid's show, but it's kind of an homage to Mr. Rogers. Good stuff. And we just have, they're just launched. I'll tell you, if you want to see something that'll just give you a pause right now during all this craziness, go watch that. It's called Mr. Brandon's Block. We just feature that. Good stuff.
And speaking of flying, you guys have a fabulous flying air show podcast. You and a couple of these crazy guys that get out and do all this air show announcing. But tell me about the air show, because tomorrow starts tomorrow, but it's an online air show and it is virtual, and that's going to be really cool because we can't get out to air show right now, but it's really, really neat.
So it's turned into, if you can believe this, it's actually turned into the world's largest air show 2 weeks ago. 2020.
Wow.
Yeah.
How about that?
It's crazy. We have like 8 countries, if you're a jet team and in the military, you're probably on our show. The Red Arrows are on, the Thunderbirds are on.
I see the
just had the A-10 come online, the F-22, the F-35. Even our friends over in Italy have sent something with their jet team. The French have sent something. It's just spectacular. And I can't leave out the Canadians, because you know this, Bill. I mean, everybody says you're supposed to have 3 to 6 months income saved up, right? In case you lose your job or something happens. But the air show is industry now, which is really the military's largest, one of the last red, white, and blue patriotic, family-friendly events you can go to. Larger audience for air shows, Rick, than Major League Baseball.
Wow.
In this country. And, we're looking at probably being off for over a year, or maybe a year. We'll see. There's a lot of varying opinions on that, but I can tell you myself, Bill, and I don't know about you, but I mean, I have shows canceling out as far now past the summer into early October. So it's gonna be a hard time. And so the goal of this socially distant air show, calling it, goes to raise some money for a foundation that we have within the International Council of Air Shows, which is our trade association. And it's a 501c3, and they've agreed, use some of this money, we're raising over the next 3 days, go to the folks that need it the most. These folks that are out of work, and if they're going to lose a house, something horrible is going to happen. We hope we have a little bit in the piggy bank there to tide them over if they need it.
That is great. And how can people watch it?
Oh, you can watch it on Facebook or YouTube or wherever you're at. Just go to Live Air Show TV. Our friend Jeff Lee was
Jeff.
gracious enough to produce it. We don't produce a bad podcast, but Rick and Rob and I. But Jeff's gonna host it for us. His content delivery network is gonna put it out there for us, and a lot of collaboration. We're not, of course, making a nickel off of this. The really cool part about it is that literally every nickel raised goes into the kitty. Even the transaction fees are going to be covered. So I mean, this is 100% pass through. So we're really just trying to do something good. But I would encourage. It's free to watch, so just tune in and take a look at it. I think it's going to be great entertainment. 3 days, 3 p.m. Eastern, till around 5 or whenever they shut up and stop sending stuff.
Well, I think it's fabulous. I think it's fantastic. Now, Rick Rush, we've had you out of there to try to get you a tandem jump with the Paracommandos or something.
Yeah.
I weigh
or
270.
Maybe fly with.
I weigh 270 pounds. I don't believe anybody wants to be hooked to me dropping out of an airplane.
Actually, well, we'll get you maybe in the back seat of an airplane. Then we'll have to get you up there flying once we get an air show back.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Have you flown any aerobatics, Rick Rush?
No, I was supposed to do it one time with I think the Thunderbirds, and that I don't know what happened, something, and I couldn't get to be a part of it, a scheduling conflict. But I did fly with that big that big, I guess it was a World War II plane that came in and took a bunch of media folks up.
It was a B-17.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was great.
I flew with Roger Gaither one time on his little plane. Now,
that doesn't count.
Harrowing enough.
That's a little warrior. That doesn't count. No.
Yeah, that B-17, that's my favorite airplane to fly on. I don't know about you, Bill, but I love it. It's like
Oh,
Jules Verne when you walk up in the front, in the nose there. It's
oh
just
yeah,
That's the
it's
one with the glass front, right?
unbelievable. Yeah,
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 yeah.
it's
That was pretty
unreal.
yeah.
cool. That was pretty cool.
You sit up in the Bombay there, and it is really amazing. The B-29 is another to fly as an honorary crew member with B, which is one of the two now flying B-29s. We flew it around up and down the East Coast a little bit, and actually got to sit in the seat and fly the airplane a little bit. It was unbelievable. It was like steering a big old boxcar. I mean,
Yeah.
of course there was a B-29 named boxcar back. That was the second one that dropped the second bomb. But bottom line is these warbirds are just flying history. They were warbird radios. It's really what you guys talk about. A lot of the characters and the stories.
Yeah.
And I mean, think about the history of these airplanes, like Jim Tobel and his 4U and Scooter and his P-51. I mean, the history saved the world back in World War II, and then in Korea and whatnot. But you must have some fun.
The airplanes are just props, right? I mean, they help tell the story, but the really sad part is, and it's our own fault, Bill, is that we don't do a good job of passing those generational stories down, right? The stories of our grandparents, and so we have interviews on there, and they're not. I mean, there are some that are somewhat graphic, but I mean, they're stories that you wouldn't want to sit down and play with your kids. Everything on there is family friendly. But to take a listen to some of those, because we have guys now that are long dead. I mean, just 2 days ago we had the anniversary of the Doolittle Tokyo Raiders, and Jimmy Doolittle's co-pilot, Dick Cole, who passed away just last year. He'd been on our show quite a bit. We did a lot of stuff with the Doolittle Raiders, and those kind of stories. Dutch Van Kirk was our first guest, the navigator on the Enola Gay, and you're just not going to get those stories anymore, right?
No, I have a guy to talk to on your show, and I'll send you his stuff. It's James Scott, and he is an author, a historian, writer. He just wrote a new book. Well, his last book was called Rampage, about the Philippines, but he's a big World War II guy. He wrote a book called Target Tokyo about Doolittle Raiders, they've said now it's becoming the book, and they're going to make a movie actually out of it. They made a movie out of War Below series as well. But great guy, an amazing historian, and he goes around the world really doing talks on World War II and stuff like that. It's Target Tokyo, and that is all about the Doolittle raid. And the guy is just absolutely incredible. Great guy and a good friend. And I know that he would love to talk to you guys, I'm sure.
I'd love to have him on. I left TV news 10 years ago and started this, but just because I like to fly, and I fly and then eat and telling stories about these airplanes, and the folks that made them happen were really something I was passionate about. So we started it, and we've been doing it ever since. And I'll tell you, I am of the firm opinion that these stories matter. I really think they do, and I think now more than ever. So we're just happy to do our small part.
Well, hey, we're having some technical issues tonight. I think it's the gremlins are out there with the broadcast.
Probably our end. Yeah, probably my end.
I don't know. It's kind of jumping in and out. You're telling me so. What? I mean, we've had some internet problems only because so many people are trying to be on it, and at the same time. So it's kind of like the superhighway has been kind of interrupted by so many people on it.
Yeah.
I'll jump off and let you guys talk. How about that?
I just want
down into.
Yeah, I just want to. I want to make sure that we talk about the air show, which is tomorrow on Live Air Show TV, liveairshowtv.com, which is Jeff, all the great people over there. Yeah. They do fabulous work. Your podcast, and give a real quick plug for the Air Show podcast.
Well, it's called Show Center, the Air Show podcast. We'd love to have you on there. You can find it either on Podbean or wherever podcasts are at. You can find it on Warbird Radio. Right. Too, if you're so inclined. But yeah, Bill, thanks for coming on. And you did a great job the other day too on the Chef Pitts Air show.
We had fun. That was
a fun show there. I enjoyed watching.
That was his deal. He was a great guy, and our Air Show 360 team put a lot of that together. And they're just the Air Show community is a very small world, as you know, Matt. And we all take care of each other. But it's hopefully we can get the world open again and flying again. Hopefully we can maybe get some of the season back. We'll see.
I hope. I'm optimistic. I hope I'm wrong, but we'll see. We're trying to do this tomorrow, again, Wednesday and Thursday, to hopefully pad the piggy bank a little bit should someone need it. But again, free to watch. It's the Socially Distant Air Show. Bill, thanks for having me on. Rick, I really appreciate it.
Hey, man, no problem. It's Bill's show. I'm just here hitting the buttons. Not doing a very good job at it tonight, obviously.
No, I think it's just the internet.
Well, I
is just
appreciate
a little bit gremlins, but we'll play this back. But we'll have you
Yeah.
back when we get better connectivity as well, and also maybe get you on the TV side. So,
All right, Bill.
Matt Jolly,
Thanks,
History
Rick.
Worth Saving, Warbird Radio, the Social Distant Air Show tomorrow, starting at 3:00 Eastern. Check it out live, Air Show TV. Thank you, Matt, so much, my
Thanks,
friend.
guys. Bye-bye.
All right.
See you, bud.
Matt Jolly, my friends, right there. That's really cool. That is amazing.
So I think what I can do, Bill, because I think it's just because there is a ton of traffic tonight. I think Monday nights are a huge night for traffic. What I can do is play this video back on your page again so that they can see it in full. Because I know there's a lot of it, just like with Marcus and stuff, wanting to be able to see it and hear it. So I don't think that's a problem at all.
Yeah, we could just play on the. Okay.
Yeah, just out.
Are we still on? We're still.
Yeah, we're still on. We're still on.
Yeah, I would definitely. I think let's see if we can do that. We'll play this back on my page or whatever.
Yeah.
And we'll make sure that we get that. Hey Rick, we can't hear the video. That's what they're saying. So we've had some pretty tough activity.
I listened to it over here. Like I went to Facebook and listened to it, so I know that the audio was there. It probably had to do with a connectivity issue. So.
Right. Well, that's okay. It happens this time of the year for sure. So.
But I've got the video recorded in full. And
what's that?
Well, I said I've got the video recorded in full. We'll pop it up on the page so folks can see it and get that information.
Good. That's good. You doing okay too? Everything good over there? In the broadcast bunker?
Everything seems to be doing pretty good. Yeah, I arranged some things around in here the other day so that I can. It's a little more user friendly now. I can. All the buttons are where I don't have to put like a foot up to hit this button and reach and hit the button. So now it's all like.
Well, that's good.
I really honestly should never have to leave this place again. I was talking to someone the other day and said they were talking about, it'd be great when we get to go back to work. And I'm like, well, I think even once the pandemic's over, I believe I'm here now. I'll just go there for meetings.
You'll never have to put another pair of pants on in your life. I mean,
I know. I don't even know if I can do a radio show in pants, honestly. And all my stuff is better than what we have at the station now.
What do you think of them opening the beaches? Do you think that's a good idea or what? The governor says yes, but the mayors are being a little more safe, and I can't blame them. Do you think it's a good idea?
I think it is. I'm glad it's back in the local. I thought it was wise to put it back at the local level.
Okay.
It just doesn't mean that the beaches will be open, and I think the local in particular does a really good job at being responsible with these type of things. We have some great leaders here in the local area, so I don't think anything will be done for a political reason. I really believe here in the Low Country, when it comes time to put politics aside, our leaders do a good job of doing that, and I don't know that happens at the state and certainly at the federal level.
Yeah, well, that's for sure. I mean, and I guess retailers opening, they're going to open up too, and they'll have spacing and stuff like that, and so many people per 1,000 square feet. Is that what it is? 5 or something like that?
I mean, I honestly I thought the governor was really smart how he handled things today, because a lot's not changing, but it is helping some folks out that need to work. So there's still the social distancing that's going on. All of those things are still in place, and if we as a community continue to be responsible, then I don't think it'll be a huge issue. I think folks could probably make this political and make it nasty, but I don't think it needs to be. Not in this case.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, it's some people think we should wait for a while, maybe another week or 2 weeks or whatnot. They just don't want to have a reoccurrence or get to get that. You don't want to have an uptick in cases, and all of a sudden, boom. It only takes a certain amount of time, to fire off these cases with people moving. So you be still use social distancing. That's still really important.
I'll tell you what I think is stupid. People protest.
I don't get that. I mean, it's it's. I understand the freedom thing, yes.
Yeah, but
this is really, really important. I mean, to go down to talk to the folks that work in the hospitals. I mean, it's just scary stuff. It really is.
We've got to go with science on this. I mean, we.
Oh, I know.
We've got to go with science on this, and to make it political, to talk about it being formulated in a lab somewhere so that people can get control, like all of that is ridiculous.
Right. Yeah, it is. It's kind of wild, and the minute you politicize science, everybody loses, and that has been the case in history. So we need to be better. So happy birthday to Taylor Sapp, who's watching us up in Carolina. 31. So happy birthday, Taylor. Well, I guess we'll get ready to blast off here. I'm going to probably make it an early evening here because we have some connectivity issues. So we'll be back tomorrow night. I like how we can do the guest thing. That's kind of fun.
Yeah, well, I'm seeing now it says, wonder if the third guest went through a wrench in it.
Well, maybe it might have been his connectivity too. Was he was
spotty.
He was kind of in again, out again, and that could also cause some connectivity problems. So, and I don't know if that can make a problem for Facebook. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I just I'm still learning about all this stuff since I got the directive. Hey, you need to do more of this. So like, all right, whatever. I'll do it with Bill.
I think it's been. I like it so far. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah,
so,
I like what I do with you, and I've really been having a good time with the stupid little thing I do with my wife every day at 5:30.
Yeah, that's very cute. That's really cool.
Have you had a chance to see that?
Yeah, it's funny. She upstages you though.
I mean, I love that, and I'll tell you why. Because I have spent the last, we've been together 12 years. I've spent the last 12 years, her being my foil on the air, with her never having the chance to respond, and now she is getting me back for everything I've ever said on the air over the last 12 years. and dispelling any rumor, because she always says about me, she's like, somebody will go, "Did you hear what Rick said about you on the air the other day?" She said, "No, but here's the deal with Rick. Everything that he says is something that is almost true or something he wanted to be true."
Right.
It has just a touch of basis in reality. The rest he just, which is true. Funny. It's totally true.
By the way, Marcus says stores are opening, so not all stores are opening. Hey, are they opening the barbers and the barbershops?
No,
opening?
That wasn't on the list. I asked my wife that, and she goes, "No, that wasn't on the list." Doing it in Georgia, they are putting barbers back on the list.
So I have to drive to get a haircut.
Well, I mean, you can do the Anderson Cooper thing. Did you see what he did?
Oh, I did. He the whole side of his head got shaved.
Well, my wife wants to cut my hair on our Facebook Live. I'm like, look, you don't make the decisions on what happens on Facebook Live. It's my Facebook Live. You just have to be there.
That's kind of scary. Right?
Yeah, she's ready to start doing bits and stuff now on my show.
You put some sharps and some sharp instruments in her hand. Watch out, you'll be in trouble.
Yeah, you'll be. It's almost time for this thing to become a Netflix thing, some murder show.
Yeah,
because I'm convinced she watched enough ID Channel and Lifetime movies and date 2020s. You'd never find me.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I mean, it's kind of like a tutorial how to disappear.
I said, why are you watching all those murder shows all the time? She said, don't worry about it. And I said, she goes,
well, that's scary.
She said, here's the deal, Rick. And she said, if I were going to kill you, I would kill you in the house because my DNA is already here.
Ouch.
Wait a second. You've been watching these things a lot, haven't you?
Boy, she's planning things out.
Yeah, you'll never find me.
She's planning things out. I mean, that's it's kind of scary right there, I'll tell you. glad Mrs. W is sleeping up there. That's good. All right.
Yeah.
Well, you get some rest. We'll regroup tomorrow night, and we'll get some more guests out here. And I'd love to. I'm trying to get my friend Ben to come on and talk about movies from Turner Classic Movies.
Oh yeah, we've got to make that happen. That'll be
Yeah,
awesome.
that'd be kind of neat. All right, Rick Rush. Well, you have a great. We'll see you on Tuesday, but get some sleep tonight. You've been working all over the place.
I hear you, man. Yeah, I'm gonna do it, buddy. All right.
All right.
We are out.